Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Jody Misiak. We are back for the second half. I thought I might go in longer into another series, but it's going to be 2 parts. So this is the second part of the series of how things like personal development doesn't have to cost a lot of money. In fact, it can be free. So we're going deep diving into the other things that I've shared briefly in last episode, but going, deep diving into it. And I'm going to explain and share my own personal takes and experiences with them. So last week, I talked about meditation and yoga and how amazing they are, and they can be free. And I shared a few resources of where you can find them. I'm going to go a little deeper in the other ones now. And one thing I mentioned was one of the free things is walking or moving your body. So with the meditation, I said you can do a walking meditation. Well, that's 2 birds, 1 stone, walking and meditating. But you can also just go for a walk with a friend. I love that. Walking with a friend and you're just talking, you can just catch up. Or if you're going through something, like it's a really good way to just kind of share and just leave it all in the forest, right? So it's good. Or wherever you are. I go in the forest. It's like leaving it in the forest. And walking or moving your body in any shape or form that feels good to you. So if you love, golf. To me, that's not a lot of movement, but hey, man, you're walking. If you're walking. Anyways, I'm just thinking like pickleball, volleyball, basketball, all the sports. Like if you like a sport, sometimes if they're in a league, like baseball, there's a league around here that's baseball. And it's not even just playing a sport, you're also socializing. So some of these things isn't not just one thing. It can go hand in hand with something else and can really help you just release emotions or energy, like all these things. So moving your body can help in so many different ways. If it's walking, you're getting out and getting fresh air. And, if you're hanging with a friend, then you're doing the social thing and like socializing and just things like that and talking out things. But moving in general helps you. Like I find whenever I'm not moving my body enough, I have a harder time regulating my emotions. So when I am moving my body a lot in loving ways, I can just handle situations so much more calmly. And I can be tapped into my intuition and just really inspiration and motivation, like so much better. I also find that when I move my body more, I make better choices for myself. So I don't grab certain foods because I'm not, I'm like, well, I just worked out. Like I just feel really good that I don't need something. Sometimes we eat foods because we're feeling something and we just don't want to anymore. And moving our bodies can help us get through some of that without even realizing it. And it just changes our whole being anyways. Like it gives us, oh my goodness, I could just talk about this forever. But I'm not going to. So don't worry. You're like, oh no, Jody, here you go. No, it just, endorphins and it's so good for our being to work out. Like there's so much benefits. So it's good for our mind, body, and spirit. And anything you're doing. And with yoga, which I shared all on its own because it's a whole different thing, but it's still movement. Even with just doing stretching like yoga or Pilates, you're just slowing down and you can really just get a sense of who you are. Like it's just really a great way to get to know yourself. And that and even doing like Zumba or running or anything like that, walking. It just really can help you connect to your own person again too. And I hope that makes sense. I just know that there was a time in my life that I really just focused on my nutrition and I lost quite a bit of weight there. So if it's a weight thing, I lost a lot. But you know what I did? I also lost something else because I was reading about like how weight gain has nothing to do with like weight loss. Now, hear me out before you're like, anyways, I was like, you know what? Let's just focus on nutrition. And I lost out on something really, really important. I lost all my stress coping mechanisms. When we move our bodies, we help regulate our body in general. And I'm not going to go into all the scientific facts of that. But we also help our stress. And then because we're moving our body, we're actually tired at night and we haven't, like our body didn't take the stress in the way it normally would. And then you can sleep. So moving your body, you'd be like, how do I create a deeper, loving relationship by moving my body or going for a walk? It helps you regulate your feelings, like in a way that like they're still there. You're not pushing them down. But when you get triggered or when you're angry about something or when you're sad, it doesn't have to like bulldoze you over as much because you're like, right, like you're grounded more. I hope that makes sense. So moving your body can really, really help you with your mental state, through emotions and feelings. And like I said, I learned that the hard way, where I went a while where I'm like, well, what's the point of doing this if it's not helping me lose weight? But in a sense it was, because it's not always about food. It's about stress. And like, anyways, there's so much negative. Anyways, that's a whole different topic and I'm not going to go into it, but it's just learning that just because you think something doesn't work for something doesn't mean it's not good for something else, right? Like I lost out on feeling good because working out feels good. Anyways, that was a time in my life where, you know, I dropped something and it's a life lesson. And it's really important to find something that you can do regularly and brings you joy. So you do it for fun, but it's still helping your body, mind, and spirit out at the same time. So that's why I said like anything that brings you joy. So going for a walk, anything that's movement. I love jumping on my little trampoline, like it's called rebounding. And I like to, it's in my office and I like doing it. But my main thing is doing my Ashtanga practice, my Ashtanga yoga practice. For some reason, my mouth is not saying that word today. Anyways, so that is a big key component. Like if you're struggling with depression, moodiness, even just regulating your feelings and emotions, I find I can help my kids out so much better if I'm physically if I'm physically fit, if I'm physically moving my body daily, then I can, there's a reason it's called physically fit. Like, you know, anyways, your brain is also physically prepared to deal with life's challenges a little bit better. But if you're feeling things like emotions really do come from that. So if you're moving your body, it really does go deeper than just the surface of your body itself, like the movement, the feeling good, the looking good, like it goes to a mental level. Now, another one that I mentioned last episode is journaling. Journaling is an amazing, amazing tool. I have shared it so many times. You can do journaling prompts. You can just dump your day in it, like as a day, like be like, just dump all your feelings, all your frustrations, or just write about your day. I always find that when I don't know what to write, I go, I have no idea what I'm going to write about. And then like I'll just keep writing and something spills out. Now, do I write in my journal every day? That answer is no. However, I do find it very helpful. Or if I'm struggling with something in my life, I will start writing in it. It is something that I would like to become more of a better practice in my world. But like I said in a different episode, finding my flow, that sometimes it's not about being perfect, and I use journaling when I need it the most. So I would like to do it daily. There's benefits to doing it daily. I just personally haven't found a way to integrate it into my daily routine. So if that makes sense. If you need more on that, go back to the episode Finding My Flow, because I talk all about morning and evening routines there and how I had to learn to quiet all the noise around me and really find what works for me. So here's a fun fact about life and our, personal discovery and like self-development, all that fun jazz. is there are so many tools out there, like an insane amount of tools that you can use to better yourself. So many. The problem is, if we do every single one of them every single day, we won't have time to do other things with our day, like work or hang out with our friends or kids or, whatever it is. So it's finding what works for you. And what I said in that other episode of Finding My Flow is do what feels good to you. So for me right now, as much as I'd like to get journaling into my routine, I haven't been able to make it a daily routine yet. It's a tool I use, but it's not a daily tool I use. So just full closure. But you can totally, some people do a gratitude journal, and you can do that at night or in the morning, whatever works for you. For me, for gratitude, I actually go to bed and think about things I'm grateful for. Or sometimes if I'm feeling things, I'll actually just look outside and just soak in my gratitude for where I live and who I am in my day in general. Or, the fact that my husband put the coffee on so I could come downstairs and be ready to drink, things like that. Like I sometimes sprinkle in my gratitude because, like I said, you can't do everything all the time. If I have like such a big toolbox of self-care tools and tools for self-love. And if I tried to incorporate every single one of them into my day, I'd be stressed out where I'm like, which is funny because I'm doing this so I'm not stressed out, right? So it's finding what works for you too. So I'm just sharing different things that are free. So that now that I went on that little rant, let's get back to what I'm talking about. Things that you can do for you that don't cost anything. Now, a journal might cost a little bit if you want to invest in like a beautiful journal. They don't have to be expensive either though. They can be, I think I got my husband one for $9 recently. So, you can find, and it was pretty. It was, well, not pretty. It's handsome because it's for him. Anyways, it was very nice. It looked very, very lovely. And it even came with a free pen, 2 free pens actually. So anyways, you can get it fairly reasonable. And it can help you out. It's actually a great way to, if you don't have a friend to talk to every day or a partner, or if you're like, I've talked to my friend's ear off about this problem so much, or, my partner is the problem and I need to talk to somebody. You don't want to, put that money out for a coach or a therapist and things like that, like we talked last episode. A journal can be your best friend. You can write down your deepest, darkest secrets or your feelings, and it's really incredible how you can work things out. You know more than you realize, and your journal will help you realize that. So that's the last thing I'll say about the journal. I could go on and on about everything I could go on and on forever. Anyways, okay, let's go to reading. Reading has literally been one of the biggest components of my personal journey, my personal development journey. I think it's where I really started to understand myself better. And I started with going to the library. Like I would go to the library and take out, I think you could take out 10 books. I think. I don't know. I would just take out a whole pile of books. Half of them I probably didn't read, but I had them with intentions of reading them, and I would read some of them. But you can get books and read them for free. There's even now online books through the library. There are so many things to do. Even my kids get audiobooks from the library. I don't know what kind of books they have on for like personal development, but there's so many different things out there now. And they're all free. Just need a library card, which is also free. It's just so good. And actually the library, I don't know, like our library here is just really amazing. They even have like a journaling group. They have so many things that can help support people. Just even reading clubs and things like that as well. So anyways, it's reading books though, or listening to books. And it just, what I do sometimes is I will just go down an aisle, like the personal, like the self-help aisle or things, and just look and just I'll grab and just, it's really beautiful. It's actually how I found, I believe it's how I found Robin Sharma's personal discovery book. I think that's what it's called. The Principles of, I don't have it on me right now. It's one I talk about. It's the one I've really read. I think it came after The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, but this one came after, and I just was really gravitated towards it to the point where I ended up buying it so I could reread it over and over and over again. That has happened too, where I've borrowed a book from the library and then I'm like, I must have it for my own library. And it's something that I go back to for myself, for my clients, for information for this podcast, like so many different things. I have so many books that I reread over and over again or just use as a reference from time to time. So you can have your own personal library, or you can go to your public library and read books from there. And like I said, that has been the biggest part of my own personal journey is reading. Reading has to be like the number one thing that has helped me on my own journey. Because you can read pretty much anywhere as long as you're not driving or, working. I've actually listened though, because I was working in a warehouse years and years ago. Before I got married, I would have audiobooks on it. Back then it was an MP3 player, and I would listen to them. And then when I'd also have jokes on there from different like stand-up comedians, shows on there and stuff too. If I needed a laugh, I had a whole pile of different things. But you can listen anywhere. And I remember when my kids were younger and I really didn't have a lot of time, or I did, I guess. I had a lot of time because they were napping. Maybe that's it. But I would be doing the dishes and I listened to an audiobook. Now, I don't feel like I get as much out of it if I'm doing something else. However, if you're listening, it's still giving you inspiration and motivation, and you're still learning something. So even though you might not be giving it your full attention, you're still surrounding yourself by these loving vibes. And I think it really helps. Like that's how I got through the non-sleep years of my life with my children, is audiobooks. And I literally listen while doing the dishes. Nowadays, I put music on and I have a good time with that. Usually because other people are around now too doing other things. Or I'm doing the dishes with my kids or my husband. So it's just a different thing now. And again, like I said in a different episode, Finding My Flow, you got to do what works for you. So these are just tools, and then you got to find how they work into your own life, or even if you want them to. I just know personally that reading books or listening to books has been the biggest life changers in my life. Now there's other things, but like when it comes to free, that and yoga. So reading and yoga have been my two major ones. And then if I have to pick a third, it would be moving my body. Those are my top. Anyways, okay. So let's go down to the next one is tapping. So EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. And I really enjoy this, especially if I'm scattered or if I have something that's bothering me. Like so with some of my healing journey with the candida overgrowth, I have, if I eat the wrong foods, I get a lot of indigestion. So I actually do a tapping for this right before bed. So like if I'm about to lay down, I'm like, oh, I have inflammation. Not inflammation, indigestion. Oh my goodness. Hopefully I said indigestion the first time. Anyways, I'm an indigestion. So if I have indigestion, I will do tapping. I've also started tapping to heal my gut. And I've done tapping to help me get through my just mental blocks with my weight loss, like feeling the overwhelmed about it and things. Like I've worked a lot with my emotions with EFT or tapping, whichever word you want to use to call it. And there is actually, you can do a lot of this for free as well. You can, if you know exactly what you're looking for, like, so if I have a cold, I'll do some tapping. And if you just Google that, you'll find a lot of free resources. The tapping solution is my biggest resource. And they actually have an app. I have the paid app now, but you can actually use a lot of it for free. Like not all of it, like a lot of it's locked down, but there's like, if you're just getting into the world of it, you can try it out for free. There's quite a number that I don't know what it is now because I've been using this for a while, But before I paid for it, I was still using it often, but doing all like there's just certain things I wanted unlocked. But anyways, I was managing for over a year, I think, or more free. It was just that I really wanted to dive deeper with my whole weight loss, healing my gut, and things like that I wanted to go deeper. And then I wanted some of the stuff that was for paid members. So anyways, but you can do a lot of tapping for free, like a lot. And once you know how to tap, you can actually come up with your own tapping statements, your own tapping things. So if you're new to tapping and you're like, ooh, maybe, definitely check it out and see. And if you aren't like new to tapping, you've tapped before and you're like, oh, maybe I'll do it again. Who knows? Maybe this was like a little nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Reminding you that it's available. It's a tool that you can try. And the thing is with tapping, if you don't know what it is, it's kind of like acupuncture, but no needles. So you're hitting certain points, or not hitting, but tapping certain points. And you actually start with negative statements first. So you acknowledge what you're feeling and that you're tapping on those points while you're feeling those feelings. And then you switch it over to positive, and then you're reiterating the positive statements into your body. And I personally, like, it has worked a lot. I've had indigestion where I could barely, like, I couldn't stand it. It was like hurting so bad. I was like, how am I going to sleep? To being able to do 15 minutes of tapping and then going to bed with no more indigestion. 15 minutes and no indigestion. It's amazing. At least it works for me. So I'm just sharing that. I'm not like, go do it, but like just sharing. Because sharing is caring, right? Like it's something that works for me and I want to share it with you. And there's so many, like you can do it for anything. If you're afraid of driving, afraid of flying. I've tapped with my kids. My oldest has a hard time falling asleep. We've tried the tapping for falling asleep. It did not work, but I don't think their heart was in it. They're like, my mom is crazy. I must follow her. Yada, yada, yada. Like, my kids. I love them. Anyways, my oldest went with the flow and tapped with me, but it did not work. So you need to be open to it. And maybe I'll try again down the line. But anyways, try it. Don't try it, but like just know it's there, and it's a resource that can be free. Isn't that beautiful? And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't too. So like I'm gonna tell my oldest down the line is that try it again. It's like getting kids to eat. Have them try it 7 times. Something a nutritionist said to me when I was learning how to make baby food is, get them to eat it 7 times. So if it doesn't work for you the first time, maybe give it another shot. Try it at least a few times. Don't give up on it right away if you're trying it. Anyways, let's move on to the last one I'm going to talk about. And it kind of goes, probably should have talked about it with reading, but it kind of goes hand in hand with that in a way. It's more motivational, inspirational tools and just things. So TED Talks or podcast episodes. Hi, like this one. Thank you for being here. And any YouTube videos or any free courses you can get your hands on. There's so much information out there now. And now I'm going to talk about this in a second, but like, anyways, so self-help and personal development. Now, before I forget, I want to share a little something with this one, because as I was saying it, I realized that some of my life I was I was spending so much time on listening to other people's stuff that I wasn't actually dealing with my own stuff, if you know what I mean. So I would stay busy, or like I would just take in so much information, but didn't do anything with it. So I went through a point where now I think learning is really, really important on our journey, our self-love journey, and just life in general. The thing is, though, we can get lost in it. Just like a good old TV show that we want to binge watch all day. Been there, done that, do it sometimes still. The thing is, we can get caught in I'm just going to learn a little bit more. I'm just going to learn a little bit more. it's really important and good to learn something. But if you don't implement any of it, then you're not really learning it, are we? You know it's there. It's in your brain. It's like listening to information or advice and never taking it. Now, there's flip sides, right? So I'm sharing all these techniques. I said, find what feels good to you. I'm not saying, hey, go and do all this stuff. Because you got to find what works for you, what feels right to you, what's going to work for you in your life, and what you need right now. However, it's about playing and exploring with it. If you just listen and then you don't do anything with it, then you're not going to learn and grow from it. I hope that makes sense. It's like if I would have learned my yoga teacher training just from books and I never did the poses. Like now the poses are embedded in my brain and in my muscles because I've done them. Now, will I get rusty if I don't practice? Yeah, I will. However, it's still like riding a bike and things too, where you can hop back on and just jump and do it. You got to establish a routine and some kind of practice with things to kind of use it as a tool to come back to now and then. But if you don't ever try, you'll never know. And I'm hoping that makes sense, right? It's like we can feel like, and I'm saying this with so much love because I have personally, like, I've read so many things and listened to so many things about business. And I could read and take courses after courses after courses. But what I did was I slowed down. I'm like, I'm taking it one at a time now. And then I'll implement it. Or I'll take some of it and leave the rest. That's also a possibility. But if I just keep reading and not doing anything with it, it's just knowledge in, knowledge out kind of deal, right? Like for me anyways, I don't keep everything up in there. If it's a personal detail, probably keep it up there. Like if it's about somebody, their birthday, just things they're going through, I'll remember that. Their schedules, like if they share it with me, I'll probably remember it. But when it comes to information I read, I have to actually implement it if I want to actually remember it. And I hope that makes sense. Also, just reading or listening doesn't actually help you heal. It's about doing the steps through it. Now, some of it, there's always a different side, right? Like if it's healing or you're just getting motivated. Maybe you just need a motivational push or getting inspired to go out and follow your dreams. Then that's different. But if you're going through something and you need to heal something or figure out why you always get triggered when somebody, says something to you or, it rains. No, I'm kidding. Different things when you get triggered or when somebody makes a bad joke on a podcast. No, I'm kidding. A podcast. You got to figure it out or else it's just going to be there still. So learning and taking in information is really, really good. And it can be very helpful for your personal development and your self-love journey. And I'm going to jump to something that I'm very reminded of because it's a book that, other than the Raman Sharma book that I mentioned, but there's another book that literally changed my life. And I've mentioned it before. So if you've been listening, I sound like a broken record, but here it is. It is by Gabby Bernstein, and it's The Super Attractor. And I got it literally a year before it came out, a year before I moved. And I literally read it and I followed all the steps and I implemented everything. And I literally I could feel the difference. But it's something that I read and implemented. Now, I can't remember all the tools. I probably use some now and then, but it's not as fresh in my mind anymore. Because after I moved, I did lose some of my tools. Like they weren't at the forefront of my mind anymore because I was so focused on packing and, I was just so happy. When we're so happy, sometimes we forget the tools that actually help us stay centered and grounded. Have you ever experienced that? Where you're doing things, everything feels good, and then you get out of your routine because, life happens or, you go on vacation and then you just don't feel as centered because you're not doing your things. Well, that's what happened to me when I moved. So as I've moved, now I'm like really picking up my tools, dusting them off, and then figuring out what's working for me now and what's not working anymore. And then rereading books and listening to books and all that fun stuff. But the books work if you take the time to process them and to do the things, like if it is a personal development book where there's steps involved, it is really important to do those steps. Or else you're going to try to get the top of the ladder without climbing it. And I don't know about you, but I can't jump from the ground to the top of like a 12-foot ladder or whatever, how many feet it is. I don't go on ladders. Don't love them. Don't love them. I don't love the heights. Anyways, let's get back to that ladder. You can't jump from the bottom to the top. You know, there's like 10, 15 rings in there. You gotta take it one step at a time. And that goes with personal development and your self-love journey, is taking it one step at a time. Free or not free. But these tools, like if you're like, oh man, I just can't budget for, a course right now, or one-on-one coaching, or a therapist, or whatever you may think you need to heal or to grow and develop on your self-love journey, there are free options as well. Now, does that mean that you don't do some coaching later, or you find a coach that does, what is it? It's like they do scholarships and different things like that. So there are other resources out there. So never ever think that they're not reachable. And maybe eventually budgeting will become a thing you can do or want to do and things like that. But for now, this was all about free resources you can do. Now, like I said, there's so many more. There's some that come to mind are affirmations. And I'm trying to think what other ones just came to mind and now are gone again. There's just like little tools and tricks that can happen. Like thinking, I choose love instead of this. So rewriting our negative thoughts and things like that. But I shared the ones that really, they're actionable. So there's like little itty bitty tiny things that I could share with you. But then this episode would be hours and hours long. But it's starting small and working your way out. So some of the books you'll read might have things too. And meditating so you can really discover who you are and really connect with yourself and get grounded. And it's just, again, taking one step at a time. So I hope that these tools have helped. I've gone on longer than I thought I would. So I'm going to wrap it up here. And like I said, there's so much tools out there that are free. And like there's little like tips and tricks. But I got to the ones that are really almost like they're a physical action step. And there's like a lot of little things that you can do too. And maybe down the line, I'll fill those, like I'll share more. But these are the ones that I could really think of that can make a fairly quick change. Like they're not miracle. Like it's not like you do it once and your whole life is perfect, because there's no such thing. And like your problems aren't all solved the moment you step on your yoga mat. But they do help you get through those moments a little bit more calmly and peaceful. So, and connected to yourself. So, like I said, I named off the ones that when I was thinking about my friend that said, I can't afford this right now. I said, what can they do right now? Because one of my biggest things is that I don't coach friends or family. So I was like, how can I help them without coaching them? That was my biggest one. And it's like, how can I guide and share? And like, because I want to help people. I want to help everybody. I want to, there's that song, Johnny Cash today, or not Johnny Cash. Oh my goodness, Johnny Reed. Today, I'm going to save the world. I love that song. And a friend of mine actually, sang that and dedicated it to me. Anyways, I think I shared that before. So anyways, I want to save the world, but I can't do it alone. And I can't do it if I'm, burnt out and exhausted. And I also don't do it if it's so close to home. So those things that I share with you this episode and the last episode that was titled Personal Development Doesn't Have to Cost You a Lot. I think that's what I'm going to end up calling it. Anyways, so part 1, and then this is part 2. I shared those because that's what came up for me when I was like, how can I help somebody that I can't coach personally? And that's what I wanted to share with you today is how can I help you if coaching or you reaching out to other people are not an option for you right now, or if you don't feel it's possible right now. And it's starting slow and really taking that time for you still, because just because money doesn't have to be the reason you don't get to know yourself better or feel better or happier in your life. So try to explore and have fun and play with this and find what works for you. And little by little, these tools and these beautiful moments can really help you grow and get to know yourself better on a deeper level and help you get through the tough stuff. Thank you so, so much for being here. I am so, so grateful for you. Thank you so much for being here again. And I'm just, thank you. I was about to say it over and over again. Anyways, have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now. Hello, it's Jody again. I'm just back quickly for a quick announcement. I have decided to do an Ask Me Anything podcast episode. So come join the conversation on loving me, myself, and life. Now, it's not going to be live. However, I am going to gather questions ahead of time and answer them for you. So if you have a question about self-love, personal growth, or just life in general, or maybe even have a personal question for me, this is your chance to deep dive into topics that matter to you. Seek advice or explore challenges that resonate with your personal experiences. So get something really, something right directed to you. I'm not going to share full names or locations or anything. I'm going to keep it all, so no one knows who you are, but you'll know who you are. And over the next month or so starting October 13th till November 30th, I will be gathering questions. Now, if you find this after November 30th, that's okay. Please send me your questions anyways, because if I get too many, I'll have to do this again. Not have to, but I want to. So send me your questions if you're like, oh man, I wish Jody would talk about this, or I wish I could hear about this. Please, please send me your questions because I want to do something for you. So please send me your questions today and let's explore the beauty of loving yourself and living authentically and creating a life you truly desire. So you just can go onto my website, jodymisiak.com, and go under contact and just fill out the form with your question. There'll be a link also with this description of this podcast episode. So please, please send away. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day. Bye for now.